Earlier today, the House Committee on Education and Workforce, the chair, Virginia Fox, called for the resignation of Education Secretary Miguel Cardona. Now, this came as the secretary testified before the committee while seeking $162 million for his budget, a $22 million increase for the department's civil rights investigations. Now, other Republicans on the committee assailed the secretary for the Biden administration's rewrite of Title IX, which places girls and women in danger. And, of course, the anti-Semitic riots that are occurring on college campuses across the country. Joining me now to discuss this is Congresswoman Mary Miller. She serves on the House Committee on Education and Workforce and the House Committee on Agriculture. She represents the 15th Congressional District of Illinois. Congresswoman Miller, welcome back to Washington Watch. Always great to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Now, there were many issues that Secretary Cardona had to answer for today, including the anti-Semitic campus riots and the Biden administration's Title IX rewrite. Now, your questions focused on the dangers to girls and women from the Title IX revisions. Speak to that.
Yes, well, he's obviously ignoring his duty to uphold the original intent of the Title IX rule, which was to give our girls and women opportunities in athletics and education, opportunities for scholarships, and also to protect our girls from discrimination. And he kept going back to how he's all about protecting everybody. And I kept pointing out to him that he is choosing to protect the boys, and he's putting our girls at risk.
The secretary, as you laid out, pretty much deflected your questions regarding boys competing in girls' sports. How big of an issue is this, as you're hearing from parents?
It's a big issue. In fact, I just told my staffer that's here, I think it's an 80% issue. You have to be insane to want to allow men and boys and girls' private spaces and their showers, to have them punished, to have them kicked off teams, forbidden from participating in athletic events like we saw. There were 5 girls in West Virginia recently that are now kicked off the track and field teams and not being allowed to compete. In Wisconsin, we had young girls kicked off the volleyball team because they complained about biological men or boys in their bathroom. The girls in West Virginia refused to compete against a biological male. In Illinois, some girls felt uncomfortable with boys in their bathroom, and they were accused of harassment. And they're going to set up these Title IX, to issue the rules to enforce the guidelines. And he couldn't even tell us today what it's going to be based on. In fact, he tried to say that he hasn't put out any guidance on it, which 3 years ago we put out guidance, and we put that up and pointed out to him that he absolutely has been putting out guidance on this issue.
Let me play a clip of one of your colleagues, Utah Congressman Burgess Owens, to your point about girls and refusing to protect them. Play clip number 11.
If your daughter was reporting she felt uncomfortable in a boy's presence in a bathroom or locker room, would that be considered by your administration discrimination or bigotry?
As an educator for over 25 years.
You can't say yes or no to that?
Did he respond to the question? Was he willing to give a yes or no answer?
Well, he's always deflecting. They don't want to answer questions. They don't want to accept responsibility for this. But I pointed out to him that he is going to be remembered as the Education Secretary under Joe Biden, who erased girls' sports for an entire generation. And, I did bring up, too, what is his guidance going to be on how to handle a situation where a health teacher or a biology teacher states clearly that only men can have babies, and another student goes and complains that they believe this is harassment. what are they going to do about that? But they want to say that they want to be hypocrites and say, well, in the biology class, we could say there's two genders and men can't have babies, but in athletics, we're going to be gender fluid and recognize gender identity, which that was another question I asked him. Could he define gender identity? Which he couldn't.
Well,
or didn't want to.
You're making progress if you get them to admit that only women can have babies, because they've actually testified to the opposite. Mary Miller, always great to see you. Thanks so much for being here and for holding them accountable on Capitol Hill.
Well, thank you for the great work you're doing.
All right, thank you.